Chapter 5, Naming the Emotion. Ever felt something heavy but didn't know how to explain it, so you just said, "I'm fine," or "I'm pissed off"? You're not alone. Most men were never taught how to name what they feel. For many, it boils down to three emotional settings: fine, angry, or numb. But the emotional world is much bigger than that, and learning to name your feelings isn't just about talking more. It's about understanding yourself, improving your relationships, and learning to respond rather than react. The emotional vocabulary gap. Here's what often happens. You feel disappointed, but say you're frustrated. You feel ashamed, but call it stressed. You feel sad, but it shows up as irritation. You feel fear, but it erupts as anger. Why? Because anger is the only emotion many men were ever allowed to express. It's forceful. It feels in control. It doesn't feel vulnerable. But underneath most anger is something softer. Hurt, fear, guilt, loneliness, embarrassment, helplessness. When you don't have the language, you can't unpack the experience. It's like having a toolbox with only a hammer. Everything becomes something to hit, even when it needs something gentler. Naming your emotions gives you power, not over others, but over yourself. The emotion wheel and how to use it. One tool that helps build emotional vocabulary is called the emotion wheel. Imagine a circle with broad emotions in the center. Anger, fear, joy, sadness, surprise, love. As you move outward, each emotion branches into more specific feelings. For example, anger might branch into frustrated, jealous, annoyed, bitter, or rage. Sadness could be disappointed, grief-stricken, lonely, or hopeless. Fear might mean nervous, insecure, anxious, overwhelmed, or terrified. Using the wheel helps you zoom in on the exact feeling, not just the surface reaction. You can find one online and save it to your phone. Anytime you feel off or reactive, pause and ask, "What am I really feeling right now?" The more you practice, the sharper your emotional radar becomes. Exercises to help you recognize, name, and express emotions in healthy ways. 1. Daily check-in, the 3 words method. Every morning or evening, pause and ask, "What am I feeling? Can I name 3 specific emotions?" Start simple. Even if you land on tense, distracted, unsure, that's a win. Over time, you'll get better at tuning in. 2. Trigger reflection. Think of a recent moment where you felt reactive. Maybe you snapped at your partner or got irritated at work. Now dig deeper. What was the surface emotion? E.g., anger. What was the emotion underneath? E.g., disrespected? Unseen? Anxious. Understanding the emotional root helps you respond with intention, not just instinct. 3. The emotion sentence frame. Practice using this simple sentence. I feel emotion because situation. What I need is need. Example. I feel overwhelmed because I'm carrying everything alone at work. What I need is some support or time to rest. It may feel awkward at first, especially if you've been conditioned to stay silent, but it builds emotional muscles that lead to better outcomes. Final thoughts. You don't need to become a poet or a therapist. You just need to learn the language of your own inner world. Because here's the truth. If you can't name it, you can't tame it. By learning to name what you feel, you take the first real step toward emotional strength, not the kind that hides, but the kind that heals.